Hey, it's W5HRO. Well, I've had the transmitter down all week since Monday because I had a problem and I discovered what exactly was going on. I think I told you in the last video I changed that Zener. I've got these VR150s, these 0D3 tubes. There's 3 of them. Then I had the Zener on the end of the ground to get the right voltage. I thought that Zener was bad the last time when I had the arcing problem when I put the bottom of the cover on. And it turned out that it wasn't the Zener, it was these loading caps. Well, it's these loading caps. And these are what I use to load down the antenna output on the output capacitor. What I have is, I had this one big variable, and I actually I labeled it, I checked it years ago, it's 467 picofarad. So it's about a 450 puff plus. And what I had is, when it's on this position here, the loading is all the way on this far left position. It's just this capacitor, which is a little bit too small for 40 meters. So when I go to the next position, it was 40 meters. What I had to do years ago is the 450. What I was doing was I had originally when I first designed this loading. This was just a capacitor. This would add a 450 in parallel, a 450 puff in parallel, and a 450. And on the end, it'd do like 3 450s in parallel for 160. Well, each one of those positions was way too hot. And what I had to do was, I had to series another one on top of it, and I had it in here like this for this first one here. Well, it's a bad idea because, for power circuits like this, what happens is if one of them starts to leak, it throws the voltage all the way, the whole full voltage across the other one. And I started getting, the arcing actually came from this. I finally found the problem. That's where the arcing was coming from, and I didn't see it the last time I was in there. These are the ones I bought 30 years ago. This is back before the internet, and you could not find parts hardly. It took you months or years to search around to find all the parts. And I think I found these from a surplus mail order place. It might have been RF Parts out here in California because they've been around forever. They were around when I first built this transmitter. Or they might have come from Fair Radio too, I don't remember. But I took them to work when I was working. I was an RF guy years ago. And I took them to work, and we had a meter there, and I went through and I checked all of them. Not on high voltage, but see what the capacitance value was, and I'd labeled all of them. We see how some of these were kind of dark. These were pullouts from military transmitters, and some of them were probably partially leaking back when I first installed them. So I went through, and I had one of them here also. I had a 500 puff on the plate loading cap. I had one on one side chassis, one on the other to give me 1,000, which is this other one. But these are all brand new. I had to order a bunch of them, and I finally got them in today, so I've installed them. So hopefully I'm going to be back on the air tonight. But these caps are what my problem was. And this one, of course, you can see when I just supposed to have been a 500 puff, and I measured 397 puff, 30 years ago. So obviously see how dark colored it is? It was probably already bad when I first put it in there. But that's all I could find back then. But these are all brand new manufacturers, and these were not cheap. These things were like 30 bucks a piece, and I had to buy like 8 of them. A lot of money, but I had no choice. These things were bad. So what I found is, I found 190 puffs. I was hoping I could find like 2 or 250 puffs, but they just didn't have them. And I found these 190 puffs. So these are all brand new. I just installed these about half an hour ago. Just replaced all those old bad ones. They're no more in series, so I won't have that power problem. But I think, with the 450, then 190 added to it for 40 meters, then the next position will be maybe like the low end to 80, and then the high end to 80, and then the next position will be like the low end the first one will be like the high end of 80. And then the next position will be like the low end of 75. And then this bottom one will be for 160. Well, that's the cap for 10 through 20. This amp's never going to work above 17 meters anyway. And right now it currently won't work above 40 until I change out. I'm going to have to put a vacuum variable in this thing eventually to get it to work above. I can probably get to work on 20, but I'm not even going to bother with it right now. I'm just going to wait till I get the vacuum variable in there eventually. But so this was going to be, for 10 through 20, 40, the Yeah, that'll be right. So the first position will be just a cap will be 10 through 20. This will be for 40. This will be for the high end to 80, the low end to 75, and then for 160. And that should work. So I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna go ahead and put the bottom cover back on this thing and install it back in the rack, warm the thing up, and I'm going to see if this thing's going to work right now. It should, because this is why the plate, not my plate current, it's why my screen current, the screen current meter kept bouncing around on me. I couldn't figure out what was going on. I thought I'd fried that Zener again. Well, it turned out I went and I checked the old Zener I pulled out. It was fine, but I did change the value. I bumped it up to the 62 volts to the 50 volt, which gave me a little above 500 volts, and now the thing, I can get the full 500 volts on the plate. Before, it was like 490 something or 480. I had a hard time getting it up to the full 500. Now I get it to the full 500, and these things really dim good when you modulate. So now it's working perfect, but it's partially regulated. It's regulated enough to where these things will die down almost, where they dim down to where they're almost, extinguished when I modulate to full power. So that's just exactly right now. So let me put the bottom cover back on this thing, and I'm gonna install it in the rack and see what happens. But this is a now I did get two of the 500 plus. These are smaller because these are only 190, but they're also 30 kV caps. These are the same caps here. I had these two that I just put one on top and one on the bottom of the chassis for the bottom of the plate choke. Then I have these other two. Then this one here is in series with this one big one over here for the screen. That's how I'm getting the screen modulation. I got a capacitive divider so I get full voltage on the screen of the tube, full modulated voltage. And then I've got a choke there too, which so it gives when I modulate. That's why the regulator's dim and everything. So this thing, you saw how it does. I set the thing at 30 mils screen current with the load. When I modulate, it bounces up to 40 mils, which I'm getting full modulation on the screen, and there's no phase lag because I'm using this capacitive divider like this. So there's no transformer doing it. It's actually just the capacitive divider with the supply that's going to it, going through the plate choke to isolate it. I don't mean plate choke, I mean modulation choke to isolate the supply from the screen, basically. So that's how it works now. It works pretty damn good. So let me go ahead, like I said, put the bottom cover back on this thing. I'm going to install it back in the rack and see how it goes. So this is W5HRO. Hey, here's the rest of the video. I shouldn't have signed off on the last one because I'm going to show you. I got this thing all hooked up now. And guess what? This thing worked. The loading is absolutely perfect. Works great now. That's going to be perfect. Now see, it does, when I adjust the load, it doesn't go up real high like 50 mils. It's like, basically I can peak it. If I go the other cap position, see, I can back it down. Matter of fact, this one's probably better. There's half capacitance on the main loading capacitor. Yay, yay, yay. Oh, that's perfect. There's the carrier. I'm on dummy load, by the way. There's about 190% modulation, maybe 180 something. Because the carrier is just a hair bit bigger than the two divisions, just a little. Let me adjust the time per division scale here. What am I doing? I went the wrong way. I knew better than that. Yeah. Yay! Look at that. See, it's almost one division above and one division below. That's almost 200%. See, that's something else. This transmitter does just about 200% modulation. Oh my God. That's pretty wild. Yay, yay, yay. It's about 180 some percent what it is. Although if I look at it, I mean, it's that carrier width is about 2 divisions, top and bottom. I mean, 1 division above, 1 division below AC. I mean, it's just like a hair bit above and below each of those lines. So, yay. Oh, God. Yay. Oh, God, it's hitting 200%. See how loud this thing is? People say, oh, you can't get 200% modulation with the Class B push-pull modulating the Class C RF amp. I beg to differ, because I'm doing it. Oh my God. But this thing loads up perfect now. Absolutely perfect. So the loading caps fixed my problem. So that's awesome, man. I finally saw that. That was the rest of my problem, the loading cap positions. Those caps, because I kept switching to 450 picofarad cap in parallel with the main loading tuning cap, and it was just too much each position. So now I've only got like 190 picofarads on each position above that, and now it's working. I can fine tailor this thing to where it's perfect. That's what I was needing the whole time. And like I said, I'm on dummy load up here, so that's it. It's working. Now I have not got back to this RF exciter yet. I still got to hook up that diode board to that light and get the light in there, and then do a couple more things. Hook up the meter, and that's that's going to be the next thing. But let me unkey here. Perfect. See, little by little, I keep working the bugs out of this thing. I had to spend a bunch of money to change all those loading caps out, but it desperately needed it. Now they're brand new and there's no more of them in series. Here are my other parts. When I go to modify this speech amp driver, I'm going to do that pretty soon. I may actually do that before I finish this RF exciter. I haven't decided yet. I do want to get this light working this weekend. I got a whole bunch. This is just 2 of them that I pulled out. These are the same lot numbers. These are the old Radiotrons 6N7s. And like I said per my last video, what I figured out I can do is I can eliminate the 6A3 drivers I have in there, and I can parallel. These are twin triodes. I can parallel the sections in these, have one of these and one of these in push-pull, and replace the 6A3s. Then here's my 6J5. And I've got the Hammond driver transformer already, the 124B with a nickel core. So that 6J5 will run through this. It'll drive those 6N7s. Then before the 6J5, I'm going to have the 6SK7 for the AVC control and the compression. And then like I said, I've got a fairly new 6SJ7 in there, but I do have another new old stock Sylvania 6SJ7. These are all GTs. These are not the metal tubes. I like glass. I want all glass. I don't want metal tubes. And then here's my the new Zeners. I had one of them. I ordered one more, so I got both of them. The 100-volt Zeners for the one of them's going to be for the screen of the 6SJ7, and the other one's going to be for the screen of the 6SK7. Now the 6SK7, that screen really needs to be regulated. It'll help solve one of the issues. So I've got all the parts to redo this speech amp driver, and I may wind up doing that this next week, because I'm actually going back to work the week after I found the new job finally, just down the highway about 15-20 minutes away. So I'm actually going back to work. I'm going out I've been sort of in semi-retirement mode. I haven't worked in 2 years because I took that big retirement package from my company that I left in the Bay Area. And then because of the pandemic, I got to collect that unemployment for like over a year. I was getting like $1,500 every 2 weeks. I kid you not, with those extra added on benefits they were giving everybody. So I said, why do I want to go back to work? I just stayed home and played radio and got all my antenna and got this stuff ready. But now it's time to go back to work. I'm going to work probably about 4 or 5 more years and I'm done. So I found a job that I think is going to last that long, and it'll be great. So let me go ahead and shut this video down, and I just want to show you where I was. Little by little, I'm making the progress. I'm getting the bugs worked out of this thing, and I'm going to try to make this thing work, last my entire lifetime until I die. So I'm trying to get it all up to snuff before I can't spend any more money on it. So it's just about there. So that's all for now. This is W5HRO.